Ever wondered why you and your friends studied from the same books, learned the same things, but scored very differently in exams? Well, that's because marks don't depend only on what you know, but also on how well you present it. And today I'm going to share 5 simple writing tips with the help of NCRT examples, which will help you to improve your score drastically without writing those extra pages. Hi everyone, my name is Sanjana Arora, and in this video you are going to learn how to write incorrect grammar using imitation technique. Then we are going to see that how we need to follow baby steps before writing an answer. Third is going to be very important, how to create an outline like a topper in order to score higher marks in any of the writing answers. Then we'll see what kind of vocabulary actually impresses the examiner, and at the end we'll see what kind of a simple structure we need to follow while writing each and every single answer in any of the exams that you are appearing for. So let's start with tip number 1. See, we cannot ignore grammar at all. But I know that if you're having your exams, you don't have much time to learn all the rules of grammar. So that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to do smart work and practice your grammar with the help of imitation technique. Now, what do we mean by imitation? Imitation means that we copy somebody else. Now, in this technique, what we need to do is when we are reading our textbooks, we need to follow some grammatical structures, some sentences which are used in our book, and then we need to copy that structure to form other sentences. Let's understand this with the help of NCRT example. So let's say that we read the sentence, French Revolution led to the end of monarchy in France. Now over here, the structure that was followed was subject, verb and the result. That means French Revolution was the subject, led was the verb, and it led to what? The end of monarchy in France. So that was the result. Now you can use the similar sentence structure to frame other answers of different topics. Let me show you how we are supposed to copy the structure in different sentences. Let's say Industrial Revolution led to the growth of industries in England. So we followed the same structure that we saw above. The French Revolution led to the end of monarchy in France, and over here it became the Industrial Revolution led to the growth of industries in England. Similarly, we can frame the sentence, the Green Revolution led to the increase in food production in India. So you see, we followed the same structure to make different sentences. And with the help of this technique, what will actually happen is that you'll start writing the way the things are written in book. That means you're going to write better, and the examiner will definitely be impressed because the technique, the structure that you're following is exactly what is written in books. So this was the tip number 1. The second tip that I have is, please take baby steps. I know that whenever we know that exams are coming, we start writing long answers and then we get burdened that why we are not able to write good answers. That's because we haven't started with baby steps. Now what are baby steps? Let's start writing summaries first. Start writing small sentences before writing a big paragraph. So let's say that, for example, you have read the topic about Indian monsoon. Now instead of writing a complete long answer, first of all write short notes like India has a monsoon type of climate. It is marked by seasonal reversal of winds. So whenever you read any topic, instead of writing a long answer straight away, start writing summaries. Now with this, what will happen is that it will not only help you to develop confidence in writing, but it will also help you in having your summary notes which can be used for revision. So see, if you're going to start writing long answers on the day 1, then two things will be spoiled. That is, number 1, your writing is not going to come very efficient, and second is your confidence. Because when we are writing an answer, we need two skills. Number 1 is the knowledge of the subject, and the second one is the grasp over English language, and both things require time. And if you start with baby steps, then trust me, you're going to go long way, and the quality of your answers is going to improve in just 1 month. Now the third tip that I'm going to share with you is something that every single topper follows. When I was in school, college, trust me, I used to do it every single time, and it used to help me enormously, and I think the quality of my answers was always great because of this one thing. That is, I always used to make an outline before writing my answer. Now with this, what happened was, number 1, I always knew what I'm going to write in the answer, so it used to save my time later on. And the second thing was that I would remove any kind of irrelevant data that I was just about to write. So what happens usually is that we start writing the correct answer, But after one, two lines, we just start writing no matter what, and then whatever we write is utter nonsense. Now, that is not going to fetch you marks. So, when you've read a question, please make a rough sheet, a kind of an outline first, and then start writing. Let's say that you have a question about the importance of Himalayas. Then, before writing the long answer, just make short notes like number one, acts as a climatic barrier. Number two, it's a source of river. Then it is rich in biodiversity. And your fourth point can be that it protects India from cold winds coming from Central Asia. So if you have these 4 points ready, then when you're writing your main answer, the thing that would happen is number one, you're not going to miss anything important. And the second thing is that it's going to be an organized answer. And this is definitely going to give you more marks. Now comes the fourth thing on which everybody gives the most importance, that is building vocabulary. But what is happening is the kind of vocabulary you are building is not actually required in your exams. Now, whenever you are appearing for any kind of exams, you require subject specific vocabulary and your language vocabulary. In language vocabulary, the only thing you need is connectors or something that is just going to give your answer a more polished and a structured look, and not the words that you are learning from newspaper every single day. So the 10 words of English that you learn every day without a theme, without your subject, now they are not going to be of importance for you. So what you need to do is just build a vocabulary list of connectors and then focus on the subject vocabulary for the exam in which you're supposed to appear. So you see, we just did a sentence that Himalayas are rich in biodiversity. Now, if a student, instead of writing that Himalayas are rich in biodiversity, writes that Himalayas are rich in plants and animals, now it means the same thing. But the moment we use the word biodiversity, it showed the examiner that we had the subject specific vocabulary, and that is what is going to fetch us more marks. So, whenever you are preparing for your exams, make sure that you have some subject specific, topic specific vocabulary ready with you, which you can use in your answers. And for that, your previous year questions can be a great help. That just pick some general topics, the ones which are repeated multiple times, and then make a list of vocabulary which you would require for explaining those particular topics. Now comes the last thing, that is that you need to write in a proper structure. Now we all know that the structure means there needs to be an introduction, then a body paragraph, then conclusion. But what exactly do we need to write in it? Because sometimes what happens is that when we are writing our introduction, we end up writing every single thing that we know, and after that it's just exaggeration of every single thing that we have already written, and that just seems like we're just trying to fill the paper. So we don't need to do that. Introduction means that you just need to introduce the topic, and then body paragraph is somewhere where you're going to explain it, and then in your conclusion you will just conclude it. Now let me explain it with the help of an example. Let's say that we have a question about non-cooperation movement. So if the question is about non-cooperation movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi in 1920. So if you want to add something more, the only thing that you can add is which place did it start from. But you don't have to tell that why it was started, what happened in it. That is all going to be a part of your body paragraph. And now you need to read your question again. Have they asked you the consequences of non-cooperation movement, or they've asked you the events of non-cooperation movement? If the events of non-cooperation movement have been asked, then in the body paragraph you will write only the events of non-cooperation movement. But if they ask you consequences, then you'll be writing only consequences. So your body paragraph is the place where you're supposed to give focus on what has been asked in the question if you want to score more. And then comes your conclusion. Now your conclusion needs to be a statement, because that's the last thing that the examiner is going to read before giving you marks. So make sure that your conclusion is having some force, is giving a statement. For example, in this case you can write that non-cooperation movement marked the beginning of unity in India. So now this is a strong statement with which you are ending your answers. So this is how you need to structure it. Now before I end this video, I also need to say that I know that sometimes we naturally don't have a good handwriting. But if your handwriting is not legible, nobody can give you marks. So you need to focus on your handwriting as well. Now for that, you don't need to practice cursive writing books, but some simple strategies like in my case, if I tilt my notebook upward, I end up writing better. So you need to see that in which angle your handwriting comes out to be the best. So please focus a bit on your handwriting as well, because if somebody can't read what you have written, nobody in this world can give you marks. And the difficult you make it for the examiner to read your text, the more marks the examiner is going to deduct. And the easier you make it for the examiner to read, the more marks the examiner is going to give you. So if you follow these strategies, trust me, scoring better marks in any kind of exams because of your writing skills is going to become very easy. And even if you have less knowledge but you can write well, trust me, you can score incredibly well. And I've observed this when I used to be in school and college. It helped me enormously. And if you think that this video has been useful for you, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye bye.